looks like planting weather to me, but it was 33 this morning and frost on the ground. So I've already decided when I'm going to do it. But I might be swayed to start sooner. So let's see. 95 on the top. That's a lot of sun. It's really humid. 74. Well, we'll see. I'll check this water hole down here, see how wet and cold it is. So what you all didn't get to see the other day was our friend Brad that's helped us out with some other stuff. Came over with his ripper and we dried out this wet spot pretty well. Still, it needs a lot more work later on this year, but I get it planted. Got a hole dug. So I'd probably get away with planting that, but I mean, what's it gonna hurt? This spot's probably gonna flood every time it rains and probably won't do very good anyway, so we'll see. I was planning about 2 days, but maybe it'll be tomorrow. A little more time to dry out and warm up. It's only, I think, like 45 or 50 tonight, so. You know how sometimes your wife comes up with a project for your house? That's why we're not disking and planting tonight. Well, we've only moved it 4 times now. Let's go move it like up just a little bit. Well, we got our corn planter planted, so it's the first step to the plant of 24, I guess. My patience got the better of me, so we're disking this thing up tonight, get it ready to plant tomorrow. I need to wash some windows. Seems like it'd be really important. Let's see what happens. Part of the field right here. I got way too small a disc for what I'm doing, but we're making her work, and that's all you can do sometimes. Considering that a week ago that end of the field had a foot of water in it. I guess it's not too bad. This old tractor may be worn out, needs some work, and my disc may be too small, but it's still pretty. 4 days ago. 4-wheel drive, 250 horsepower John Deere with duals. Couldn't pull through this without spinning. And now we're cruising through with the disc, about to plant some corn tomorrow. I mean, it's not perfect, but that should be my tagline, I think. It's not perfect, but it works. Let me know what you think. I don't really need them, but spent all that time putting these lights on, I figured I better test them out. Because at some point I will need them. I don't know when, but I know I will. Well, the old girl is hopefully gonna make it through this season, but she definitely needs some work. Most of it right back in there in the expensive part. But I got this section ready to plant. Well, today is the day. We're starting planting. Not a lot, but let's get to it. So this little box here doesn't look like much, but there's a lot of money in here. That's what we're going for. 70 days. If everything's perfect. You know anything about seed prices? Doesn't look like much, but sure is. Doesn't have to go very far. So this old planter, I've seen better days, but it works. The row markers aren't working right now, but we get by without them. And unfortunately, the shaft on the fertilizer is seized up, so that doesn't work either. But it puts corn in the ground. Last year it did a pretty good job of it, so let's hope this year goes the same. So you can see on this planter, there's really no down pressure. It's just the weight of that planter unit, row unit. I don't think you can call this a row unit, it's too old, but that's the only thing that pushes down in there. So if you don't have your soil loosened up pretty good, it just doesn't go in deep enough. I don't know if there's some kind of cutting edge that probably mounts on there, but it's never had one since I've had it. Maybe I could adjust that a little bit to cut in front of the seed tube a little more, but that's one of those things you just have to learn, I guess. All right, it's go time. The plan is See if we can get 8 rows all the way up and down, but I haven't done any calculating on it to see how much seed I really need. I don't even know how long this is. Go down here to the end and see, look at making the second pass, and that's going to be the end of our excitement for right now. I'm going to try and plant about every week, give or take, based on the weather. So hopefully it doesn't all decide to just pollinate at once. It'll stagger a little bit, but that's going to depend on the weather a lot. Well, that's the product of not having good tillage. Not bad there. You can see over here where we're not getting in the ground, but that's right on the edge. I didn't really work it. This, however, is not really on the edge. We should be a little better than that. And this is just ending up right in my disc furrow. So I had a couple spots last year that did the same thing. I ended up just coming back and kicking a little dirt on them. So this should be hopefully about the worst spot. We'll see what happens here. We can probably make one more pass. I don't really want to. You can see it's looking a lot better. It still has some spots here and there. Cover that up. Probably gonna end up with a little cultivator blade through here. Guess you gotta have your planter shoes on. So honestly, other than that first row that's kind of in the sod, the rest of this isn't too bad. Every once in a while it catches that disc furrow and leaves a little out, but overall it's pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good for what I got. There's a lot of people that probably just disc this up and start over. Good thing there ain't too many acres to plant. I just spent about 10 minutes walking here and taking some dirt over top of what was not in the ground enough. And about 95% of it's my fault because I was in a hurry to get it in here and didn't get this groundwork deep enough, and the other 4%, let me rephrase that, 50%, because I didn't get this groundwork enough because I was in a hurry to get it in. I'm already a month behind when I wanted to plant, but the other 45% is using that little disc behind that big tractor and putting a lot of compaction back in the ground. But overall, it didn't do too bad a job planting. So we'll work the rest of this field up a little more before we plant again and see what happens. But again, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and there's the first 8 rows of 2024. Shoot, look at that mess. So again, I've always said I'm going to share the good and bad on here, so I promise one day there's going to be a video that has a lot of good in it. I don't know when, but it will happen. But anyway, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and make sure you like and subscribe. So I got my 8 rows in, and by the time I was walking through the rows here, covering up my seed that didn't get planted quite right, I get this. And you know, you gotta, what do you say, if you want to be successful, surround yourself with successful people. So having friends to kick you when you're down and stand you back up, it's an important thing to have. If all goes well, this will be ready to pick right at the beginning of July, and cross fingers for good weather and no bugs and no cultivator blight. So before y'all bust me up too hard in the comments, I know most of what's wrong here. Don't take that to mean that I think I know a lot, because I know I don't, but I know what's not right here. And you know, I'm learning. We're trying to better our equipment and ourselves as time goes on. So we'll get there one day. And if it goes halfway well, I'll also show you that it doesn't have to be perfect to still come out good at the end. I know that from last year. I thought it was not going to be a good year, and turned out pretty well, I feel like. So in a couple months, we'll have some corn to pick, I hope, and you got to keep it sweet. Just like the shirt says. I think now I should walk off into the sunset, right? Be real dramatic and stuff. I also could be wrong about this, but although I've got friends that will remind you of how much better it can be, I'm also pretty sure that he wasn't going to plant this early. And the little 8 rows of sweet corn made him nervous. He had to get out there. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm going with.